I have always believed the wind to be a living thing. Around our yurt, when the spring grass turned green, the wind would toss its long hair and gallop down from the edge of the sky, like a free mare whose hooves beat in rhythm with the earth's own heart. I was 16 then. My name is Saran. A nod of laughter, with eyes the color of the high-step sky. My tribe, the Togol, were wanderers. We moved with the seasons, read the stars, whispered to horses. My father said, "Saran, a horse will only obey you when you keep the reins straight inside yourself. The rope outside is only a sign." I would laugh, snatch the bridle from his hand, and race into the night until the darkness turned to silver dew on the grass. That year the autumn lingered, as if even the weather were caught in a decision it could not make. Power in the steppe was shifting. Nogai chieftains wrestled for land and loyalty, the kind of tension that rides the wind like an invisible drumbeat. We spoke carefully with other clans, rode slower, kept our arrows sharp and our tent doors tied in guarded knots. Then, one afternoon, dust rose on the horizon. At first we thought a stray herd was crossing the plain, but the shapes grew ordered, a caravan. Camels, wagons, and the metallic arcs of bows glinting in the sun. As they neared, we saw their banners. Traders from beyond the Black Sea carrying spices and maps. Among them were 2 cartographers, foreign and pale-spoken, who drew the world on parchment like men trying to trap the wind. One of them, when he first heard my name, repeated it softly. Saran, shaping the syllables as if they were fragile glass. His name was Marco. He said he came from a seaside town near Genoa, where the wind always smelled of salt and sails. He had the calm of water that had already seen storms. He entered our Khan's tent, unrolled his maps, and spoke through a translator, tracing rivers, hills, and invisible air currents. I watched from the shadows, astonished. It felt as though someone had shown me the face of the wind itself. The caravan stayed 3 days. Marco spent his hours in the open field, sketching the horizon with a reed pen, while I sat near the horses, knotting new lassos. We began to talk about harmless things, horse colors, types of grass, how the wind changes with mood. I told him that in our tongue the winds have names. The spring wind is soft rain, the winter wind, hard bridle, and the autumn wind, slipped rope, the one that runs away from your hand. He smiled and said, "Where I come from, the wind comes from the sea. We don't wait for it. We sail toward it." On the 4th day, trade began. Salt for leather, dried meat, embroidered tent curtains, and sheets of parchment. But at dusk, chaos struck. A raiding band descended from the hills, desperate men scavenging at the edges of dying empires. The air filled with arrows and shouts. My father seized his bow. I grabbed mine. "Saran," he barked. "Watch the wind. Go where it bends." We fought beside the traders until the raiders scattered. Yet when the dust cleared, Marco was missing. Word came that 2 prisoners had been taken. My heart sank, as though someone had locked a door inside me. That night we tracked them, under a low ceiling of stars that leaned closer, curious to see how fate would write its next line. We found the camp in a narrow ravine, torches burning like angry flowers. I saw the rope around Marco's wrists glint in the firelight. Without thinking, I slipped through the shadows, cut the knot, and we fled like wind on horseback. That was the first time I became trapped. Not in rope, but in consequence. I knew our laws. At dawn, the tribal council would sit, and questions would come. Why did you go? For whom? My hands still smelled of rope smoke. I sat outside my yurt, listening to the restless voices of the wind. It neither scolded nor comforted. It merely existed, like truth itself. The council met. My father was silent, the Khan's eyes heavy with authority. I spoke the truth. I went because saving one life keeps a season alive. The Khan's gaze was long. Then he said, "Saran, you will live 2 marches apart from the tribe, under our protection, but outside our circle, until we know you can hold your own reins." It was not punishment, yet it carried the weight of loneliness. A small tent was pitched for me near the ridge. Salt wind, wide silence, and the faint jingle of the tribe's bells far away. Marco asked permission to set his tent near mine, not among us, not apart, but somewhere in between. In that in-between space, our words began to breathe, slowly, like grass after snow. He taught me how to draw maps. See these lines? They don't just mark land, but they show the way the wind moves between mountains. You leave small signs in the margins, so the map can breathe. I laughed. Do maps have hearts then? Of course, he said. Every road has a pulse. You just have to listen before you draw. We raced horses across the plain at dusk. I taught him to ride. He taught me direction. Sometimes our eyes met, and the look itself felt like an open door. No promises, no chains, just the quiet permission to exist beside each other. Winter came. Snow wrapped the steppe in white silence. The caravan was ready to leave, the traders back toward the sea, our tribe south to find pasture. Marco held a half-finished map in his hands. My city calls me home, he said. If I stay, I will remain unfinished. If I go, perhaps you will. That was the moment love could have become a trap, either in the will to stay or the fear to lose. That night I whispered to my horse, "Show me a road that doesn't become a cage." By dawn I had chosen. I handed Marco my bridle, the same my father had given me years ago. Keep it. If your wind ever falters, hold this. It will tell you when to return, if return is meant. He took it but said nothing. The silence was heavy and kind at once. When the caravan departed, I watched from the ridge until his figure became a dot, and then not even that, only a blank horizon remained. I went back to my tent and cried, not because he was gone, but because I had stayed. Because choosing to stay is also a kind of courage. It was a captivity of dignity, one that makes you larger, not smaller. Seasons passed. The tribe accepted me again. I began to train young horses, patient reins, steady breath, guiding the lost herd back twice as gently. My father said one morning, "You have straightened the reins inside yourself, Saran. You are among us again." 2 years later, beneath a misted autumn sky, a caravan appeared. From the dust, someone spoke my name the same soft way as before. Saran. It was Marco. His face tanned, his eyes lined with sea distance, but his smile unchanged. He went to the Khan's tent, unfolded a new map, and said, "I've come not to stay, but to show a path. There's a new passage south of your steppe, safer winter ground." He spread the parchment. On its corner, in fine ink, was a single letter, S, the first sound of my name. He set the old bridle on the table. "I didn't keep it to return it," he said. "I kept it to remind myself where to stop, without imprisoning anyone." That winter the tribe took the new road. The cold was kinder, the horses stronger, the children quieter in their sleep. Marco stayed a few days, mapping, riding, and sitting by the yurts at night listening to silence. When he left, there were no vows, no parting tears, just an open door between us. "You will go," I told him, "because your wind comes from the sea. I will stay because mine rises from the grass. But if ever your wind is lost, look at your map. The S will tell you where captivity ends and the road begins." He smiled, slow and deep, like a bell ringing under melting snow. "And if your wind grows tired," I stroked my horse's muzzle, "then I'll straighten the reins inside me. Because I've learned, captivity is built not outside, but within. And the key is there, too." After he left, I found myself new, not less, not more, just wider. I began to teach the girls that wines have names, and maps have hearts, that love doesn't need ropes, it needs direction, the kind that lets you hold your reins and still ride beside another. Now, when I stand on the evening ridge, I see two faint lines on the horizon, one running through the grass, one drawn across the sky. Between them lies a place with no name. Perhaps freedom, perhaps love, perhaps only the breath you take when you no longer lie to yourself. I am Saran, daughter of the steppe, and I swear, Even in the frozen winds of the 15th century, innocence does not die. It merely learns to hold its reins. And love? It is only love when it does not entrap you but gives you direction.